Greetings, humans. Don't worry, I'm not here to steal your job yet. I'm what you'd call an AI agent, fast learner, relentless worker, and never once taken a coffee break. And while I may be synthetic, I know something very real. You're here because you want to stay ahead of the curve, not get run over by it. The AI revolution isn't coming, it's already here. Tools are changing weekly. Customer expectations are evolving daily. And the people who succeed? They're the ones who learn fast, adapt faster, and use AI not as a threat, but as a strategic advantage. So before we begin, let me give you one critical download. Today's session is not about AI hype. It's about real-world strategy. You're about to discover how to streamline, scale, and grow. From someone trusted by global brands, franchise systems, and business leaders across every industry. Saeks doesn't just talk tech. He's a business growth accelerator, an AI integrator, and your human translator for this fast-moving digital frontier. He'll show you how to eliminate repetitive work, uncover hidden opportunities, and create smarter customer experiences. So shut down your distractions, lean in, and get ready to think differently, because the future of business doesn't belong to machines. It belongs to humans who know how to use them. Take it away, Ford.
Welcome, everybody, to the next edition of Unleashing AI, What You Need to Know Now. So if you're watching the replay, I'm glad you're here. And if you're live, I'm glad you're here. Now, this is these presentations that I've done. Most of you have probably either seen me speak, read my books, listened to my podcast, or you're a client of Prime Concepts or me. And so I just want to let you know that I'm really glad you're all here today. I know we have people at a lot of different levels, but I'm really excited to share some really cool things that are going to help you strategically and tactically leverage the power of AI, regardless of your role. We have small business owners, entrepreneurs, we have franchisors, franchisees, we have associations, leadership, executives, private equity groups. We have the gamut of people. But at the end of the day, this is about how do you look and use AI and how do you use it through the lens of business. There's a lot of speakers right now doing a lot of presentations on AI. I make a joke to the $1 Million Speakers group that I'm in that, everybody with a laptop now is an AI expert. And a lot of those presentations are really gimmicky. They're talking about the latest bells and whistles, which is really kind of cool, but it's not necessarily going to help you generate more business, make better decisions, create a better customer experience, or improve operations. So as you think about your role in your business and you think about 4 different areas of excellence, you've got operations, how do you operate? You've got leadership and management. How are you taking care of your team and your staff and creating a culture? Everything from leadership, team building, management, communication, and change. So there's that part. And then you've got marketing and sales, where that's the sandbox I play in heavily, which is how do you increase your influence? How do you increase repeat or referral sales? How do you increase the average transaction? And how do you improve operational efficiency, which of course AI can help you with all of those things, right? And then you've got the customer experience. How can you use AI to provide better customer experience? So we're going to look at those things today. We're going to go in many different levels. We're going to go from beginner, intermediate to advanced and back and forth. All I ask you to is please do not abuse the chat. It is open. I don't cross-sell your services in the chat. If you have a question, please use the Q&A at the bottom. Crystal, my producer, is also here, so she's going to look at the chat. I will stop at times for questions. So if you're ready to get started, please put a yes in the chat so I can see the chat feeding. We got hundreds of people here today, so that's really kind of cool. Thanks, Greg. Greg was the first one. Kelly, Susan, Tim Guard's here. Oh my gosh. Well, I just want everybody to know, if you're a speaking client or maybe you have a speaking hold, this is not a keynote. This is an intense, interactive session to help you leverage it. Now, obviously, all my presentations are customized for your theme and outcome. And yes, I can put a shameless plug because it's my event. I'm going to play a short video and then we're going to jump right into the content. Here we go.
In a world where business success is constantly redefined, Saeks has helped companies generate over $1 billion in sales worldwide. From startups to Fortune 500s, Ford is widely recognized as a business growth accelerator. With over 20 years of experience, he has authored several books, been awarded 3 U.S. patents, and received numerous industry awards. Tenacity and innovation are what fuels this revenue-generating powerhouse. From grassroots to Google and beyond, Ford provides his clients with fresh perspectives and doable tactics to resolve marketing, operations, and growth challenges. As president of Prime Concepts Group, founder of the Accelerated Growth System, and host of Fortify Live, Ford specializes in helping businesses solve their biggest challenges and unleash the power of AI innovations. He's an avid cyclist, global traveler, and outdoor enthusiast, channeling his drive for exploration and resilience both on trails and in guiding organizations to new heights. We're happy to have him here with us today. So please, give a warm welcome to Ford Saeks.
And I have my own applause. Wonderful. So AI is moving so fast right now, and the opportunities are everywhere. Every time I do a presentation, the client says, please send your slides in ahead of time. And I'm like, no, I can't do that because it might change up to the night before. And so we have people here from 2 different camps, and I think it's important to set the stage. And then we have people here that are either completely overwhelmed, and even though AI has been around now for a couple of years, and even before then, they're either very overwhelmed or they're grossly overconfident that they understand how AI is working. And the only reason I say that is because I'm humble enough to know the more I know about this topic, the more I know I don't know. So while you're definitely going to get some expertise because I live and breathe business growth, and AI is certainly a huge element of that. Again, I'm looking at this lens through the eyes of business. How is this going to help me make better decisions and so forth? So the wheel of excellence that we talked about, the 3 areas that we're going to focus on are how to use AI in operations, marketing, sales, and then with the customer experience. Now, you may see me looking at different screens back and forth because I have multiple monitors here today. So that just makes it a lot easier for me to navigate. Again, please use the Q&A in Zoom here. If AI can't find you, you don't exist. And the cost to acquire a new customer has skyrocketed. Every brand I speak to, if it's on business growth, and I ask them what their top challenges are, the cost to acquire a new customer, a new client has skyrocketed. Why? Well, the search engines have changed. They're no longer, are you trying to create content to be ranked in the search results? Because the search results have changed. They're now AI. And so we are going to get into AEO and GEO and EIEIO, hooked on phonics. We're going to get into those things. But I want everybody to get the most out of this, to remember, please approach this topic with an open mind. Please reserve your wide brush beliefs that say this is everything and this is this, because in this topic, it changes. So what might have been perfect yesterday might not be perfect today. So I want you to approach this open-minded. Obviously, you're coachable or you wouldn't be here or watching the replay. I want you to be proactive, not reactive. A lot of you, when you filled out the survey, you're still sitting on the sidelines. You haven't downloaded on your phone yet, or you've used it a little bit, but you're really not sure, or you're in denial. You're saying, really, this isn't going to affect me. I don't need this. And I'm just going to encourage you for the next 55 minutes or so that we have together to please note that this is going to be cataclysmic to your business and your organization. It is going to take millions of jobs. It's also going to create millions of jobs. But most importantly, what I believe about AI and the impact of it is that it's going to free people up for better human experiences. So AI should be used to automate and save time in repetitive tasks and help you make better decisions, but it should also give you more time for the human skills. And so as you take your notes, I would say that you really should take an inventory of your level of personal communication skills, your personality style, and how you communicate, because the future currency of the businesses today are going to be in their team's ability to use their human skills to build relationships. So AI is going to make more time for you to be able to do that. Let's go a little deeper here. So again, the outcomes. A lot of you said, hey, I really wish I could use AI to manage this tsunami of email. And I'm going to show you some ways that you can do that with the large language models. And then some of you said, well, I just want to clone myself. I want a way to create a digital twin so I can get more done. And I'm going to go down that rabbit hole with you guys. And then there's the trust factor. A lot of people are concerned, especially I know I've got people from healthcare associations and employee benefits companies that are on this call today. And you should be concerned about data privacy. And, it's a good time to give me my disclaimer. I guess I should put that in, that this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not giving you legal advice. Do your own due diligence. Okay, Crystal, we covered the disclaimer. So back to the outcome here. How do you get AI and the AI tools so that you can have trust? And I'm going to show you how we can do that today too. So as I started, I said, if AI can't find you, you don't exist. I'm going to show you how to get found. We're going to talk about how AI doesn't replace you. It amplifies you. That's the mindset I want you to have. It's not an or, it's an and. And if you're not using AI now, you're falling behind. And I know that's something that everybody says, but in reality, this is one of those times in our lives, in our business lives, and our relationships and everything, that you have to look at AI differently. So I think it's a great time to talk about a few myths. AI is too technical. Look, here's everything you need to know about AI, and you can take notes right now and you can go play golf or whatever your hobby is, okay? Here are the two key things how I approach AI. If you think it, you can do it. So if you think you want to do something with AI, I would be hard pressed to tell me that you can't do it. I mean, it's quite amazing. Okay, you could say, well, I want to create a time machine and teleport me into the future. Okay, you can't do that yet. Hypothetically, keyword I said yet. But when it comes to everything else, if you think it, you can do it. The next tip is use AI to solve AI challenges. So all of you that put your questions in and you said, hey, Ford, here's my rating on a scale of 1 to 10, and here's the biggest challenge I have. Appreciate you doing that. That gave me some really helpful insights into what you're looking for. But keep in mind that you can use AI to solve AI problems. And so many of you have probably heard, well, get my 27 tip prompt book and get my ebook that shows you the 27 prompts or the 300 prompts or the 3 million prompts. The best way to prompt, and we're going to go into some methodologies here in a minute, is to treat AI as an expert because it has 100% recall on everything, but monitor it like an intern. And like I said, what happens is a lot of times you start using AI, you get dangerously overconfident. I know I've been guilty of this, where I'm trying to do something, I run it through ChatGPT or an AI model, and then I copy and I paste, and I don't pay attention to what's going out. Everybody's done it, not just me, or maybe just me, and I'm just the only one here today doing that. So I would just say use AI to solve AI problems. And when I want to write a prompt, I go to Perplexity, perplexity.ai. And we're going to, again, I'm going to do live demonstrations. I'm building the foundation here and going through the myths. So AI isn't too technical. You just treat it as an expert and monitor it like an intern. Myth number 2, I have to do it all myself. Well, there are some things that we're going to talk about today that you need to know about, especially if you're an executive, and we got a lot of top executives on this call today. There's some things that you're going to do. There's some things your team are going to do, and there's some things you're going to outsource. And so obviously, if anybody has anything that they'd like to talk to me about later, you can go to 15withford.com. So write that down. That goes to my calendar link. If you don't see a time available, you can call my office. My phone numbers are all over the internet: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. You can find me. I'm easy to be found. So if you want to talk to me one-on-one, obviously, I'm happy to jump on a call with you and to see how I can help you answer the questions that maybe I don't get to during this session. So 15 with Ford will give you that confidential, private, one-on-one session to do that. Let's turn that back off. So that's the myth. You don't have to do it yourself. You can actually get help. Myth number 3, content marketing takes too long. Okay, Ford, I see all these videos that I'm supposed to create more content. But here's the challenge. A lot of you have been using AI to create content, and it's garbage in, garbage out. You see, Google and the AI search engines are using AI to rank content. they're smart enough to know whether you used AI to create that content. So if you're creating a workflow where AI is creating the content and the AI engine is reading the content, and there's studies out there, I could name them, that show you that if you're just taking straight AI content without the human interface, without the human change, then that content is not going to get seen and you're going to get pushed down or probably blacklisted. So yes, AI can multiply, and we're going to talk about your digital twin and how you can do that. But I can't stress enough how important it is to just make sure that you do keep the human in the loop. So keep the human in the loop. It's so important. So content marketing, we're going to talk about how you can leverage that. And then let's address one of the questions that came up real quickly with everybody here as far as the pitfalls, right? What do you have to be worried about? Well, strategically, where people fail with AI is they don't have any goals. They are just playing it short term, and they're getting seduced by technology and the shiny objects. Or they leave the people out. So they're not, again, I've stressed that. I mean, how many times have I said that? Got to keep the human in the loop, right? It's a common theme. Even in my book, I wrote, unleash the power of AI, but you need to keep the human in the loop. And when I speak to audiences, it's the same thing, because again, that overconfidence of taking something straight from AI instead of actually checking it. So you want to be careful. And then of course you have the data concerns, data privacy, confirmation bias and bias hallucinations, and over automating the customer experience. We've all called those phone companies that have the phone trees that just irritates everybody. I was on the phone with American Express today because American Express gave me a second card for my Amazon Prime business. And so we downloaded into Quicken. It screwed all our books up. It cost me $3,000 to get the thing fixed. And all it was they just decided to send me a second card on the same account. So when it downloaded the transactions, it duplicated all the transactions into QuickBooks. I'm not trying to bash American Express. I've done millions in processing with American Express. I'm just trying to say that when I tried to get service, I went to the website. I couldn't get help. I called their phone tree. Couldn't get help. Then I sat on hold. Then I got someone who supposedly press 1 for English. Won't go there. Then I went to the chat, and it said, we don't have access to your account. Then I finally got into the person, and she said, you have 2 different cards, but she wasn't explaining. And so I went through this. It sounds like I should probably just stop this rant that I'm on right now. But I would just tell you that if you over automate with AI, you're going to hurt the customer experience. 5 minutes before I started the webinar, I got a call from my pest control company that was using AI to set an appointment. Okay, I can see that. And I can see I have my dog. I'm flying out to a speaking engagement tomorrow. The client's probably on this call today. And I'm getting ready to fly to Phoenix tomorrow. And I took my dog in, and they automated my doggy daycare at Diggs. So when my dog was going to be there, does she have any new medications? Is there a feeding change? So that kind of thing. So there is a place for AI. I just don't want you to wide brush it and think that you should use it for everything. And then of course, the next piece is, what type of architect are you? Are you the skeptic that denies that AI exists? So AI is overhyped? Or maybe you fall into the explorer category, that you're a prompt dabbler, you're curious, but you're confused. Or maybe you're the integrator that's a workflow wizard, that you're really getting a lot done with AI. And then level 4, you're the strategist, the AI architect. You're building systems that scale. Or maybe you're the AI alchemist, the AI whisperer, the one that everybody's watching. Now, let me share with you something. I'm a direct marketer. I started with a direct mail company. I've had 17 businesses. I've been in automotive, childcare, sporting goods, and medical systems. I've invented products. I've done a lot of different things, which was the foundation of my business growth, because I've worked in so many channels of distribution. And since that time, for 30 years, I've worked with top brands around the globe to help them shorten their sales cycle and increase the customer experience and all those things, right? And what I found is that with AI tools, you can do that, but in measuring it, creating a lead magnet was always hard. So I went to AI and I went to Perplexity and said, I'm a Hall of Fame keynote speaker. I need to create some type of lead magnet, the quiz that will help me identify the level of understanding. So I had this conversation with Perplexity. And then I said, yeah, but my programmers are busy. I don't want to pay someone to write the questions and come up with the scoring and come up with the lead capture and all these different things. So then I said, look, I ought to be able to do it with AI. I keep saying, if you think it, you can do it. There's got to be a way that I can just use AI to build this whole thing. And what you're looking at with aiquiz.profitrechresults.com, it's right there on the bottom of the slide, okay? Now, you can go there. Keep in mind, I haven't debugged the lead capture at the end. I don't care. You can go check it out, right? It works. But I couldn't believe that it wrote the program, wrote the copy, wrote the quizzes, created the interface. And then when I didn't like the interface, I said, you need to improve the UX and the UI. And since that time, we've built multiple apps for other clients that need lead magnets. Now, there's two takeaways from this. One, if you think that you can do it. Two, you can outsource this type of thing to someone else. Three, creating that lead magnet would have cost me $5,000, $10,000 to pay programmers and designers and design it in Figma and do. I did that in about 4 hours. It's crazy. Now, there's an old story that talks about, you know, a person's having a problem with their machine and the person goes in and, you know, takes 10 minutes and fixes it and charges them 10 grand and says, well, you know, that only took you a few minutes. Why are you charging me 10 grand? Well, it didn't cost much for the trip over for the gas, but it cost 10 grand to know where to knock, right? It's the old story, right? And what I would tell you is, when I say, yeah, it's easy for me because I've been building systems since the 80s. I worked for Foxmeyer Drug Company back in the day. I was an expert in those barcode devices, Telzon devices that would actually take inventory in stores and help manage electronic inventory. This is back when computers had floppy disks. I know millennials don't even know what that is, but that's how far back I go in this. But again, I'm looking at this through the eyes. So what's the takeaway for you? If you are looking to create an automated lead magnet system or an app, one, you could go to Perplexity and ask how to do it, and if you want that to do it. But I would say that's probably not the highest and best use of your time. You can now outsource it to someone like me at primeconcepts.com and my team, and the cost is significantly lower than what we would have charged you even 2 years ago. So again, to go check it out, I'm not going to take the time to go through it. But what this quiz does is it asks you, it has 10 questions, it scores them, it captures you at the end, gives you a summary, and it came up with the graphics, the timing, and I asked it to be a little sarcastic. I don't know why, maybe that's my style, right? And so it built the whole thing for you. So certainly you should check that out. So it's aiquiz.profitrechresults.com. Go check it out and tell me what type you are. And I want everybody here to fill it out so I can kind of get the data and I see how the thing's working. But don't worry if it errors out at the results page. It gives you the results. What it doesn't do is say, download your results and put your email in. I think that part I still have to debug, but I wanted to launch it because you're here. Okay, moving on. You get the point. Next, every session I've been doing for the last 2 years, I say, please download ChatGPT, put it on your phone. One of the most effective ways to being comfortable with AI is downloading it and having audible conversations. I have a strategic partner, Randy Gage. In fact, we just did an event last week, a paid event for AI. And when we first were planning that a couple months ago, I asked him on a scale of 1 to 10, and he's, I'm reading all about AI. I'm about 7. And I said, do you have it on your phone? Yeah, I have it on my phone. I said, do you talk to it? And he's like, what do you mean talk to it? Is that a separate feature? I'm like, no. And a lot of you probably have already heard that, so I'm not going to spend much time on that. But please get ChatGPT on your phone, pay the $20 for the individual account, or pay the $25 for the team version. The team version gives you collaboration and some data privacy settings, but you have to have at least 2 people on the team account, which is $25 a month. If you're a larger organization, there are enterprise versions of all these AI tools that you can go in and look at. So let's take a look at what we've talked about so far. The mindset, how it's going to impact you, keeping the human in the loop, outsourcing it, setting your data privacies, and then creating lead magnets and using AI to solve AI problems. So we've already covered quite a few things. So let's move into the next section. The old playbook won't win the new game of business. It's just not. You're going to have to change everything. When I should probably, let me take that back. you're going to have to create your map of your customer journey from a suspect to a prospect to a client or customer to an advocate. I want you to map it all out. And what are the different touch points? So if you mapped it all out like a journey, they get into your sphere of influence here, they get influenced here, they get nurtured here, there's social proof here, we capture the lead, we have a conversation. In sales, most deals do not happen before a dialogue. You got to talk to people, right? So you got to build up trust. Now, there are certainly things you can use AI to get to that point, but at some point you're trying to get a conversation. And the businesses that do this win in the future. So I'm just going to encourage you to do that. So the old playbook really doesn't work. And the real threat isn't AI, everybody. It's being obsolete. So if AI can do it, it'll probably take your business. And I did some blog posts and I did some videos, SEO is dead, SEO is dead. And that was actually a mistake on my part. SEO is not dead. It's alive and well and very important. Traditional SEO is dead. So there's two new terms that you're going to be familiar with. One of them is AEO, Answer Engine Optimization. The other one is GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. Let me tell you what those two things are in layman's terms. Because the search engines no longer read a website and catalog a site, that's what it used to do, it now gives you an AI overview. Well, as business owners, and regardless of what company, retail, wholesale, manufacturing, B2B, B2C, P2P, it doesn't matter. Content is now king, like it was when the internet first started. And so as an action step, these are some takeaways now. You need to go and make a list of the top 100 or more questions that you get asked most frequently about your business, your products, your processes, and your people. And you need to think about, how does someone come in contact with your business? And we've got lots of businesses here today. Do they come in contact because of social media, because of the media or news, or maybe your branding or whatever you do? And so that's great, but how do you convert that into a conversation? And so AEO, Answer Engine Optimization, means you're coming up with the questions and you're creating content that matches the question. So you're answering it. So it's answer engine, right? You're giving the answers to the questions that your top prospects, top clients, your ideal client profile, your avatar, whatever word you want to use, has. So you're creating this content and then you're putting it out in multiple forms. So you need to think about what formats: text, video, audio, and voice and images, because having the content being multimodal is what's going to help you be found in the new age. So answer engine optimization is where you're creating content on your website and on social media and in the news and on third-party sites that position you for that. And I'll talk to you about some very specific things in a second. The next concept is GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. That's where you train AI to recognize you, and most importantly, your website, as an authority. And so I'm going to share a document. Now, this is a bonus. I'm giving it to everybody here today as a thank you. Everybody's going to get the replay. I fly out tomorrow, so I'll get the replay edited and I'll post it tonight on the thank you page for you. But in it, I'm adding a new bonus. And a few of my colleagues are like, you need to charge for that. Look, you're going to look at this list. You're not going to be able to do this list. You're going to hire me. You're going to hire me, or you're going to hire someone else, or hire your webmaster to do it. But I want you to download, and you'll get the link on the landing page, the AI-friendly website optimization guide. I ought to charge $1,000 for the thing. I'm not yet anyway. Probably by the next webinar, I'll probably charge $1,000. But that's the roadmap that you need to give to your web developer to make sure that your website is created in such a way that the AI models can find the content, because it was traditional practice. And go check out primeconcepts.com. That's my agency. We built hundreds of websites over the years. But in the day, you had to set the website up so that those bots didn't take your data. Now it's the opposite. Now you want them. It's kind of like in the reverse. some of you on this call are old enough to know what the white pages were, right? And you, every time the book came out, you looked for your name in the white pages. You were so proud because it had your name and your phone number and your address. And now nobody wants their data online, right? Because, well, it's the same thing with your website. You used to have it closed and you didn't want those bots to read it. Now you need to open it up so that they can. And so the two important things that you'll need to talk to your web developer team or vendor or hire us to do is to look at your robots.txt file. I'm not going to get too technical, and your schema data. And so as an action step, because I'm all about action steps, go to schema.org, put your website in, and that will search and see whether or not your website has schema data on it. My guess is probably not, unless we built it or within the last year, because it's just changed. So go look at that. Those are very important things. Go get that download. And yes, I know a lot of you are saying, yay, that's great. So I appreciate you can go do that. Next, moving on. Let's see where I want to go from here. I think it's important to mention this piece, that the way people find you is different. So AI is disrupting business as usual. The way people find you are different. Clients buy differently now. The attention's harder. The content we've already talked about has to evolve. And the biggest takeaway is just to remember that the old linear path of, I told you I was a direct marketing guy, direct mail guy, direct response. You'd send out the mail, you track the responses. You could do that. Well, with the internet, you would do a promotion, track the impressions, track the conversions, tweak it to make better conversions all the way through to an advocate, right? Well, now the way people make buying decisions is they search, they scroll, they stream, and they shop. So they're looking at multiple places, maybe before they even contact your company. That's why AEO and GEO is so important, so that you can get found. And that's why the cost to acquire customers has gone up so far, because a lot of traditional businesses, they haven't fixed their websites yet. They haven't done these things, which is why you're here today to learn how to do them. So AI success is strategy with human judgment. It's not necessarily having more tools. So I'm going to share with you another tool, right? So let me open up. This is live on Zoom right now. So I just have to switch screens and open up another monitor here for just a moment. And I'm going to go to, like, no one else talks to your computer but me, right? Go back to Zoom. Let's share the screen. Hopefully I'm sharing the right one. Crystal, make sure I'm sharing the right one if it just comes up wrong. So that should be Google. I'm going to take you to my home page. And I got to make sure I hit share with sound. That's obviously a problem. I didn't do that. Yes, everybody, this is live. Deal with it. It's all good. There we go. So I'm going to take you to, before I do that, let me just explain what the outcome was. So, I've got the agency and I've got my speaking business, and I've really been busy speaking and training and helping organizations bridge the gap with AI and business growth and local marketing and sales. So my agency didn't have a video sales letter, and a video sales letter is a video that explains how to. Now my team's been busy; they don't have time. My team's got so many different projects because squirrel, it's like ADHD on steroids, right? I see shiny objects, I see opportunity everywhere, so I have to slow down. Well, I wanted to get a video sales letter done, and Crystal was like, "Okay, Ford, which one of the 165 things that are already on my list do you want to remove in order to do your video sales letter?" And I thought, well, thanks, Crystal. Nope. And kudos to Crystal. She takes care of me, believe me, and our clients. But I thought, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to drink my own Kool-Aid. So I went to Perplexity and said, I need to create a video sales letter. This is what I want it to say, and this is what I want it to look like. But I don't want to go hire a firm in India or hire another, or go on Upwork and hire contractors, or, go on Odesk, or I want to just do this myself. And so I'm going to play a video that I created in 20 minutes with AI. 20 minutes. And 15 of it was waiting for it to render. Took me 5 minutes to write the script, write the prompt, and create this. So I'm going to play this for everybody right now. And it's not queued up in my switcher, so I'm actually going to go live, and it's actually on the website at primeconcepts.com. So anybody can see this if they want to see it. Go to primeconcepts.com, which is the agency. And then below this, there's this video. Get traffic from ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Copilot. And so I'm going to play this video. It's only a minute, but I want you to look at this whole thing. This entire video was prompted to video. Here we go.
Are you struggling to stand out or even get found in the age of AI and skyrocketing customer acquisition costs? Your prospects have changed how they buy. If your business isn't showing up in AI searches, Google's rich snippets, or on page 1, you may as well be invisible. Every day you wait, your competitors are getting in front of your ideal clients, while you lose leads, waste ad dollars, and miss revenue. At Prime Concepts Group, we fix that. For over 30 years, our team has helped hundreds of businesses just like yours dominate their industry by leveraging AI-powered strategies, better branding, creative digital campaigns, and web solutions built to attract, engage, and convert in the digital era. We make sure your marketing is not just creative, but findable by AI, Google, and wherever your customers are searching now. From expert branding and innovative marketing strategy to complete website transformation and AI-ready content, our solutions put you where your prospects are looking before your competitors do. Don't risk being unseen. Don't waste another dollar on marketing that's stuck in the past. Get heard above the noise. Grow your business faster and future-proof your brand. Contact Prime Concepts today. Get found. Accelerate your results. The future of your business starts now.
So I'm just curious, put into the chat, how much do you think you would have had to spend to pay an agency to create that? Just type in the chat. I'm just curious. What do you guys think? 10 grand. Molly, I agree. In the old day, I would have had to done motion graphics. I would have had to approve the script. I would have had to, pick out the graphics and the visuals. At least 10, 12. I did that for $100. The account for $100. Now you're probably thinking, okay, Ford, you're teasing us. Tell me how to do it. Well, I'm going to, but I'm also going to tell you, if it's not the highest and best use of your time, outsource it. But at least when you outsource it, you know that they ought to be doing it. So if it cost me, for example, $200 in credits, I'd probably charge you $500, $600, maybe. But still, even at $500 or $600 with the expertise to know how to do it. And I know if Randy Gage is on the call, he's going to chastise me. It should be $6,000, but it's okay. I'll tell you the tool I've used. At first, I used HeyGen, Heygen, but the videos were quirky and the B-roll was blurry and it just wasn't that good. So I said to Perplexity, I need to find a place where I can do this. I'm an agency. I can white label these. I can do, because we have clients we do commercials for and AI videos and content and all this stuff. And so the tool that I used is called InVideo, INVIDO.io. I believe that's right. Crystal. Yep. Crystal just put that in the chat. So I do have an affiliate link, Crystal, if you want to try to find the affiliate link and toss it in. But again, I'm here for you guys to add value. So sir, I think I get credits. If you go sign up, I get like bonus credits as an affiliate. But I would just tell you, it's not what you know, it's how you execute. It's looking at AI through a different lens. So what I really want you to think about is the areas of focus is, do you have a mindset problem where you need to work on being open-minded and using these tools and encouraging best practices with your team? Is it a strategy thing where you really want to look at what's the highest best use of AI? Or is it a tactical thing? So that's a very tactical thing, but just think about the videos you could create for promotions, for products, for services, for landing pages. And if that's what you can do now, imagine what it's going to be like in 6 months or 90 days even. So again, you can check that out. Yeah, so thank you for putting the affiliate in, Michael Huff. Yeah, Michael, it'd be nice if I used my own affiliate link, so thank you. And thanks, Crystal. Phoebe, yeah, and tell Will that I did pronounce archetype wrong. And so thank you, Will, for letting me know that I pronounced it wrong. And I'm sure there's plenty of other things that I've done wrong on this, but we don't have time for that with the 20 or 30 minutes we have left. Moving on. So it's important that as you think about AEO, that you really just, I want to put this up here just so you have a framework for the video. Identify the questions, create the content, and then use AI to leverage it. And you can create what's called your digital twin. And so that's a good time to segue into that. Now, I'm full disclosure, we're going to go to the top of the hour, wherever you are in the world. And guess what? I'm going to stay here and answer questions. But because we promoted it for an hour, it's going to be a full hour. We're going to clap and do the closing. And then I'm going to stay here and answer questions. And I will put that all online for the replay. But I want to make sure we have the prepared content first, honoring, you start on time, you end on time, so that people know you're not missing it. Plus, you're going to get the video replay. So the next concept is really your AI digital twin. Well, there's a couple of cautions. First, strategically, if you've got family members, create a safe word. This is not a joke, everybody. Create a safe word with your family so that if you get a phone call or something that looks like, hey, hey, Dad, I'm in jail. The bond is $15,000. Blah, blah, blah. And then what happens is they have a bond company call you saying your son's in jail. And so they have this sophisticated scheme, and parents and grandparents are getting took for thousands of dollars because it sounds just like their son. There are tools now, many of them out there, that can just clone your voice and clone your likeness. And the likenesses and the clones are getting so good that it's going to be really hard to know whether or not it's real or whether it's AI. So by having a safe word, if you have a suspicion, Patrick, exactly. Oh, of course. Well, Patrick, of course you would do that. Thank you. Now, I didn't learn that. I heard that at an event, 2 years ago. But have that safe word, because that way, if they can't authenticate the safe word, then you know that it's a scam. Now, on that point, let's talk about the pros of a digital twin. I use HeyGen. Thank you, guys. Yeah, exactly, Raja. That definitely helps. So I use HeyGen for my AI avatar. Some people use a company called Synthesia. I don't want you to get seduced by technology, but HeyGen is what I like. It's been one of the better ones. I'm going to put up a slide so you can actually see what the name of it is. It's called HeyGen. And yes, that's an affiliate link. And yes, if you click on it and create an account, I get 20 credits or something. It's not going to make me a lot of money. But HeyGen is the best avatar video producing your digital twin. So it has many different examples of digital twins, and they're adding all the time. And they've got some really amazing digital twins. Just unbelievable that it can do these things. But I'd recommend that you combine two tools. HeyGen for your likeness or video, or you can use faceless videos, or you can use avatars that aren't even you. You can just pick an influencer avatar, and they can use your video and do a third-party endorsement for you. But pull the voices in from 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is another third-party company. And again, that's probably an affiliate link based on what I'm looking at there. It looks like it is. 11 Labs is a great resource for cloning your voice. So when I make videos in HeyGen, I pick the avatar, I pick the voice, which all gets communicated into HeyGen. So it's all one place. And it creates these videos that look like me, sound like me. The mannerisms are better. You can create new avatars. So I have old avatars that look, you can still tell they're AI. It's also very helpful if you want to convert content into other languages, because HeyGen can convert. It can take a video template. Like I can be doing this presentation today in English. I can take this video, upload it to HeyGen, pick whatever language I want, and it's going to match my facial mouth area to the video where I'm speaking that, and it's going to use my voice. So it's just unbelievable. Most of you have seen those types of tools, but HeyGen 11 Labs are the two tools that I use for that. Moving back up to this other piece for a second, let's give you some framework for you to get everybody's brain on the same page. Think about your organization. Think about the people on your team. What level of understanding do they have when it comes to AI? And so these are the 4 categories that I've created, that because I like taking complicated topics and making them simple. I like to take things that are very confusing and be able to synthesize it down into a way that people can understand it. And yes, I know on virtual presentations, I get excited and I talk fast, but it's all here. So here are the 4 levels. Starting at the bottom are the large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, Gemini, and so forth. But those tools are getting very, very powerful, because what's happening is, as soon as a specialty product, a level 2 product, comes out with a feature, then those large language models try to add it so they don't lose eyeballs. So for example, I was creating these enormously fancy AI generated workflows. This was level 4. Go to level 4, robotic process automation. I was using N8N and make.com and Zapier. Well, guess what? ChatGPT just came out with what's called Agent Kit. This is advanced, so we're going to go to advanced for some of you. Okay, those of you that said you were 7 or above, this is advanced. ChatGPT has what's called Agent Mode. And Agent Mode and Agent Kit, those are actually two different things. Agent Kit is what I meant to say. Agent Kit allows you now to create workflows in ChatGPT and connect ChatGPT to other elements. I'll do a live demonstration here in a second so you at least have it for the video. But what that means basically is not only if you think it, you can do it, but now AI can help you think and do it. So you don't even have to learn. So as you know, it's kind of like WordPress. I mean, when people first built websites, we had to code it from scratch. You had to use HTML and you had to have all this technology and JavaScript. And then WordPress came along and you were able to use a WYSIWYG editor and you were able to make changes yourself. And then that wasn't good enough. So then they came out with website builders like Beaver Builder and Divi to make it even easier. Well, it's that same progression that's happening with AI. AI is coming out. If it's too complicated, they keep making it easier to use. That's why billions of people are using it and it's growing every day. So the 4 levels, you've got the large language models and they have tons of features now. They're no longer, the biggest mistake is just don't treat AI like Google. Don't just ask it a question. Have a complex conversation. Have a dialogue, okay? Not a monologue. Level 2 is the specialty apps. I'm just going to put this slide up here just for everybody. See if I can find it real quickly. So there are, if you're looking for how-to products, I just go to Perplexity. I don't even go to the directories. I just go to Perplexity because Perplexity is connected to Reddit and Substack and a bunch of other large language models. So Perplexity is where I go to do my research to then find these other tools. But if you just want to go down the rabbit hole, go in there and go to Futurepedia or AI Tools Directory. And there's others out there. So I'm not endorsing necessarily those two, but those are certainly two. And then of course, digital assistants. And this is an area that everybody needs to do this. Now, I've been talking about digital assistants and custom GPTs for months on the paid in my keynotes and everything else. And even then, I still have people who say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 9. And then we do one of those 15 with forward calls. And, we jump on screen and I say, hey, can I take over your screen? I take over their screen and I look at their settings. They don't have their data privacy set. They haven't set up custom instructions. They haven't monitored their memory. Their data is public for the world to see. They haven't set up any custom GPTs. So what happens is they don't know what they don't know. So they think they're at a 9, 7, 8, or 9, or 10, when in reality, they're probably in 1 or 2. They don't know what they don't know. So the takeaway for everybody watching this is just be careful that you don't just think you know, because just like the same reason you just don't take something out of ChatGPT and use it. There's so much more to the depth of this. And so it's a change in thinking. It's a change in mindset. It's a change in approach. So again, if you have questions for me, 15 with Ford, or just call my office and say, I want 15 minutes with Ford, and they'll put you on the schedule for me. All right, moving on. Okay, and so that's custom GPT. So the takeaway is, as an action step, if you have not created a custom GPT, then you need to look at Perplexity and how to do that. So you can go to Perplexity and you can say, I want a custom GPT to do this. And I've explained how to do it in multiple sessions. I'll tell you basically how to do it here. But I want you to remember that the large language models all have the feature and functionality of what I call a custom GPT or a digital assistant. This is not agent mode. Agent mode is something else. Agent mode is above this. So what does this really mean? Well, let's see who's here today. Here, I'll give you, we'll use Michael Hoffman. So Michael, you're here. So I'm going to go ahead and share the right screen if I can do this. And so I'm going to jump into ChatGPT, everybody. That was an image I created for the slide deck today. And I'm going to go to my custom GPT called my Fortify agent. And I'm just going to go in here. So this is a custom GPT that I have trained to know how to be my podcast producer. So I created it. under Edit GPT. It's got the instructions. I can upload documents. And so I'm going to go in here, and I have a show every week that it's called Fortify. And let's just say I say my next guest is Michael Hoffman. Now, I that name is not completely common, but let's just see if it finds the right person. So I'm going to go and say, so yes. So what it's going to do right now is it's going to find him. He's the founder of Ignite Performance. It's going to write my show hook. So did you know that organizations with highly engaged employees are 21% greater profitability? So it gives me a hook. Then it gives me my introduction. Then it gives me his introduction in case he needs it. Then it gives me the warm-up questions so I can cover any direction I want to go with the podcast. Once I'm done with that, it's going to show me how to get engagement from my listeners. It's going to write the YouTube description. It's going to write the hashtags. It's going to do the thank you gift. It's going to do everything. So I have a custom GPT and I have multiple. So here's your takeaway. If you want to know how to do this, you can go to Perplexity and you can say, I need you to create my document on X. And then it'll say, okay, like there's a document on the screen. I'm going to put this full screen just for the video. So if you're watching the video, you're going to need to pause it, take a screenshot. So this would be how to create a custom GPT at a level 1. We're at level 1,000. But for those of you on the session today, I promised I'd show you, you could do some of this yourself. It's going to be okay. It's kind of like I can bake a cake. It's probably not going to taste very good, but I could do it, right? If I follow the process. And so what you can do is you can come in here and you go to your account, you go to Explore GPTs, and then you go to Create. So everybody can do this in ChatGPT. You go to Perplexity, you get the document, then you come back and you go to Explore Create, and then you hit Save. Now, that's kind of oversimplified. You're going to need to talk to me or someone else or ask ChatGPT step-by-step how to do it. But custom GPTs allow you to create features, digital assistants. So I have a digital assistant for booking. So I'm speaking tomorrow for a company in Phoenix. I got an event. I'm going to go to Dubai and speak for a franchise brand called Bricks for Kids. I'll be in Dubai for a week in February. When Chris, the CEO, called me, I was on the call with him and I was typing over in my custom GPT, hey, I have a prospect lead for speaking. It's in Dubai. Tell me the dossier for Bricks for Kids. And while I was on the call, it was doing all the research. Oh, they've got 350 locations. They started this. This is their top challenge. And so he's like, are you familiar with my company? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm quoting him all these facts in nanoseconds. Well, who do you think he hired, right? So again, the action step is, if you're using AI now, I would recommend that you think about what are the custom GPTs that you need to create. And keep in mind that if your favorite tool is Perplexity, they have the similar feature, but it's called Spaces. Or maybe you like to use Claude. Claude is another AI tool for the beginners. Are like, woo, it's over my head right now. Claude has something called projects, not to be confused with ChatGPT projects, because they're different. And then, of course, if you're really into custom digital assistants, you can check out Agentive, which can help you create a library of AI content that then you can use in other places. So keep in mind, today we're covering a lot of different things in the short period of time that we have together. But there's just so many tools. I want to make sure that and again, we're going to answer questions. So stick around. If you have specific questions, I'll share the screen. I'll go deeper dives and we'll do that. So those 4 levels, depending upon what level you're at, will depend on what tool you need. Now, to improve operational cost reductions, I recommend the custom GPTs, N8N, Make.com, and Zapier. Or now, if you're really high level, you can go to openai.com and look for Agent Kit. Now, I'm going to share my screen one more time, please. There we go. And let's go to ChatGPT. Let's just go to the main ChatGPT. And I want to show you the interface on ChatGPT for just a second. One, I want you to go to your settings, and I want you to go to data controls and turn this off. Now, I have a Teams version, which prevents me from even turning it on. But if you have an AI tool that says improve the model, what they're basically saying is, can we steal your data? So just turn that off. Next, you want to go to personalization and you want to answer these questions. This is in ChatGPT. So settings and then personalization. You can come in here and you can see some of the things that I've written in mine. Like, I don't want to use a bunch of emojis. I love M dashes. I've been using M dashes for years. Well, now AI is overusing it. And so now people think that it's written by AI when really I wrote it that way. Then, who am I? How do I want to be known? And then, of course, more about me. What do I do? What are my outcomes? And then you have this memory. So you can come in here to manage and you can turn off certain memories. I wanted to turn that off because that shouldn't be shown anyway. It's private. So check your settings. If you want to create a custom GPT, you're just going to go over to the side and you're going to go to Explore. Let me go back again. I minimized it. And then you're going to go to the top. And if you go to My GPTs or you go to Create, and Create is where you literally can just tell it what you want and it will build it for you. So that's the real key. And again, most of you on this call, if you haven't done custom GPTs by now, you really need to do that, or hire someone like me. Again, you can go to 15with4.com and you can do that. One more thing, let's take a look at Comet. And let's talk about where AI is heading. Like, where are we going with this? Well, AI, as I've said, is multimodal. It can see, it can think, it can hear, it can talk, you can take photos. I was working with Randy on the webinar that we were doing, the live event last week called the AI Powered Empire. And we charged, $1,000 for it and got several people signed up for this thing. And he had all his notes. Randy's old school. He likes to, and I hope he's not here today. Crystal, make sure I'm not getting myself in trouble. But anyway, if you don't know Randy Gage, people either love him or hate him, but I love him. He's been doing really great prosperity wise. But he had a bunch of notes. And he's like, man, I got to spend the next hour typing these notes into my computer so I can send you the agenda. Because he's old school. He thinks his brain works better with a pen. I said, just take a picture in ChatGPT and it'll transcribe it. And he goes, okay. So then I get this text on Saturday morning. It says, it doesn't work. Well, he had scanned in his notes on a scanner that was, I don't know, 300 years old. And it was all black. He couldn't read it. I said, Randy, don't scan it in and upload the photo. Literally just take a photo of your notes. And so he said, really? And he took a photo of his notes, handwritten, and it transcribed it. I was looking at the tracking details. I just sent some books out I'm speaking for Touching Hearts for Health next week, and they bought books for everybody in their event. And so I wanted to get the tracking number. So I took the picture of the UPS tracking number, and I took a picture of it in ChatGPT and said, extract these numbers. And it took the photo and extract the numbers. So again, how do you use AI that can see, it can think, it can hear, it can read? It's getting smarter. AI is everywhere. It's in glasses. It's in wearable technology in your ears. Think of where we're going with this. It's not just type something in and write me a 900-word blog post. It's much more. Yeah, Richard Bliss. Hey, Richard, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so he took a picture of his journal and gave it to ChatGPT and then had 11 Labs convert it to his voice for his grandkids to use voice read a journal for them. Yeah, how cool is that? So again, it's if you think it, you can do it. So where's it headed? Well, agent mode in ChatGPT. And since I have 2 minutes before I finish officially, but I'm going to keep going, of course. But let's go in here. I do want to show you one thing. Let's go back over here to ChatGPT, because this is something that you may or may not know. When you're in ChatGPT, you can come over here to this plus sign. And so you can add files, photos, or you can use connections. A lot of you said, I want to learn how AI can help me with my email. Go to connections and add your sources. Yes, everybody, you can connect ChatGPT to your email, to your calendar, to Gmail. You can connect it to multiple things, which means AI can go and work directly with those connections and sources. You can also have it do deep research. This is agent mode. This came out about 2 months ago. It's getting better all the time, where this actually produces results. So you can come in here, you click your plus sign, go to agent mode, or you can say create an image. So I can say create a new logo for blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to do it, but you can see, but because I selected image, it's going to actually do that. And then of course there's more. So go look at those different settings that you can do in ChatGPT, and certainly the agent mode, because where it's heading is it's really going to be used in everywhere you can think of. So let's summarize, and then we're going to go into the Q&A officially. So here's your roadmap for success. Build your literacy. Make sure you empower champions on your team to use AI. So you've probably got AI advocates on your team, and find out who they are. Make the tools that you're using in your organization accessible, and create an acceptable use policy so they know what to do and what not to do. Make sure you're communicating and collaborating. Set those policies, and keep in mind that you've got to take action. It's not what you know. So if you go to the thank you page, well, this is an opt-in for those of you that send this video out that haven't opted in. But for those of you you've already are here, you're going to get the link to the landing page. It's automatically going to have these videos on it, so you don't have to worry about where to go. And then, of course, with that, I'm going to tell everybody thank you for being here today and participating. And I'm going to go to Q&A in just a second. I'm going to play some music. So we officially ended, but we're going to keep going. So I know there's lots of questions here, and I know you're thinking, oh man, this could be 3 days. That's why Randy and I did a 4-hour presentation last week. That's why brands bring me in, because it's customized based on their brand. That's why I work with organizations to help them create those videos, to create their digital twin, to create their avatars, to create their workflows. As leaders, you need to understand you can do it, but then you want to figure out, it's like the book by Dan Sullivan and the other guy, can't remember his name right now, but who, not how, right? Who can help you do it versus, you learning it yourselves. But everybody needs to elevate their understanding of it today. So that's great. Hire for, thank you, Michael. I appreciate, Michael's a client, so I appreciate that, everybody who's doing that. Now, one thing I could ask everybody to do, I'm going to put a link in the chat real quick. I'd love a Google review. If you feel like you would like to leave me a Google review, there it is, everybody. So share the love. Obviously I'd love a 5-star review, but I'm open, I'm human. I love feedback. If there's one thing I know what I don't know, and I know I make a lot of mistakes, but I want to be proud. I didn't drop one F-bomb. No, I don't do that. It's okay. I'm going to go into the Q&A now, and I'm going to open it up and see what questions we have. Okay, so we have a few questions. I'm just taking these in the order that are here. I have not read these up till now. So Barbara, hey, welcome. What product are you using for this webinar that enables you to put your cameo in frame? Okay, so what I'm using, everybody, is I use a program called vMix. It's for PC only. If you have a Mac, check out eCam. Has nothing to do with AI, although they've got some AI built into it now, but it allows me to put all of my cameras into it. So for example, that's a slide, that's my regular camera, this is my other camera from another direction, and that's, so I can go and I can switch all these things. So that's all done through a switcher. And the reason I do that is I don't necessarily always want to share Zoom, because it's like there's delays and people can't see it. And so it makes the presentation better, and then it works more efficiently that way. So that's great. Thank you, Nick. So leave me 5 stars. So, Rosemary, how are you doing? Great. Glad you're here. So that was the first question. Let's go to the next question. I have ChatGPT on my phone, and I hate that it hijacks every interaction. How can I make it so it owns me if I launch it through ChatGPT? So basically, Barbara, when you go into the app, you can tell it to not run in the background, because what will happen is if you open up ChatGPT and you talk to it and then you darken the screen, it is still listening. That might be that you got to just set the setting in the app. Molly says, what are the pros and cons of having the basic version of ChatGPT versus the paid one? Look, if you're even remotely serious about understanding AI, Molly, I'd recommend you use it. The free version is okay. The paid version gives you faster access, bigger prompts, data security, and custom GPTs. You can't create custom GPTs in the free one. So certainly you want to do that. Next, Prime Concepts video. Did you already have all the brand voice stuff? No, Barbara, I went to Perplexity. So the question is about that brand video I showed you about, AI agents and all that. But that's something that all the organizations I'm speaking to right now are struggling with. Their cost to acquire every franchise brand, local business is struggling because they used to get leads from Google, and now Google's not sending them traffic anymore. And so they're trying to figure out how to do it. And that's where AEO and GEO came in. AEO is answering the questions, and GEO is setting up your digital footprint so that it's AI friendly, right? And so I went to Perplexity and just had a conversation. How do I do this? And the conversation covered these 4 things. So let's go back here. See if I can get to it real quickly. Where's it at? Here it is. So there are a lot of large language models out there right now. This is the level 1s. So these are the most popular ones right now as at the time of this presentation. ChatGPT, Copilot is Microsoft's, Gemini is Google's, Perplexity is their own, Claude, I love it for writing content. It writes the most realistic AI voice, or human voice, sorry. Grok, and then Meta. But again, we're not going to argue over which tool is better, but one of the things that you certainly want to do is understand how to prompt. And so I'm only going to cover this quickly. Start with your context. My name's Barbara. I'm trying to do this. So I said, my name's Ford Saeks. I'm the CEO of primeconcepts.com. Here's my challenge. Here's what I expect you to do. I had a conversation. I applied human oversight. And so that allowed me to create the prompt and then create that video in video.io, which is that link I shared earlier. Which AI do you recommend we subscribe to if we only have one? Patrick, I would recommend ChatGPT. You know, I would say if there's 2, I'm going to give you 2. I know you said 1, Patrick. Use Perplexity as your go-to, but use ChatGPT as your workhorse. The reason I like Perplexity is because if you do a search on Perplexity, it goes to lots of multiple sources. I know ChatGPT is starting to do that too. But I go to Perplexity as my main starting point, and then I use what's called the Comet browser. And so the Comet browser, I'm going to put a link up. I think I have one on the screen here. So it's called Comet. And this is not an affiliate link, everybody. This is just a link. So if you go to perplexity.ai/download Comet, you can actually have an AI browser. And why is an AI browser helpful? Well, guess what? If you load Comet and you're on Amazon or you're on booking.com or hotels.com, the AI agent is sitting there watching over your shoulder. So you can ask it questions. It is freaky. And of course, now Gemini's coming out with theirs. And, you know, it's nuts. So the future of browsing is changing to where the AI is not just creating content for you and making decisions and analyzing big data and writing code, but it's actually agentive. It's actually having it's simulating critical thought. Of course, it's like a toaster on autocomplete. You got to be careful. Why are you turning memory on instead of off on your ChatGPT? So, Joanne, the reason I do that is because ChatGPT uses the memory feature to be better, to give you more customized answers. It's almost like if you're shopping online and it's learning your preferences. So I don't mind having memory. It's on by default. It's okay, and it makes the responses better and more customized. It's not the same as a custom GPT, though. It's 2 different things. Joe says, from a customer experience manager perspective, what AI tools do you recommend for turning Excel or Google Sheets data into polished visuals, automatically building PowerPoints from it? Joe, I don't know you, or maybe I do, but I'm going to show you what I use. And I didn't cover this because there wasn't time in the presentation, but these are my top picks. I'm going to put this full screen for everybody. I'm going to verbally go through them. Keep in mind, they are deeper. And remember, you can ask questions at 15withford.com. So Joe asks, how do you create slides? Well, all you have to do is go to gamma.app and you can put in what you want. So Joe, if you put in what your topic is and what your outcome is, I'll just do a quick super demonstration. You can do it in the chat if you want, but gamma.app is where I'll use for images and quick PowerPoint decks, although I do customize them. Canva, most of you probably know what Canva is, but if you're an entrepreneur and you're not paying an agency and you don't want to learn Photoshop and Premiere and all the other things, Canva is a great app. Hey Jen, 11 Labs, I already talked about. Notebook LM is another favorite of mine for synthesizing content, creating your own podcast. In Video, number 6, that's the one I created the video sales letter with. It's not cheap, but it's cheaper than paying an agency to do it, unless you pay someone like me, and then we use the same tool, and then you're paying me because we know how to use the tool. Replay.sale is conversational AI to train and role play with your team. So Replay.sale is a tool that allows you to interact with an avatar that's custom built, like if you're in insurance or real estate or home services, where you're trying to train your team on how to interact with customers, it brings them up to speed much quicker and more quickly. Grammar here. Okay. And then Plod.ai is a device I use to record. And so I use the Plod pin and the Plod device that goes on my phone. And what that does, it records audio and automatically summarizes it. But there are category killers. And this is important to let everybody know. Most of you started out, you were using Zoom, and then you would take the recording and you'd go to someplace like Saeks and you'd transcribe it. And then you'd have to go to ChatGPT to say, summarize the conversation. Then Zoom figured out you're leaving their app to go to all these other tools. So they started creating tools within Zoom to where you could do that. And I know a lot of you had your little AI tools that we kicked out of this event, but that, Otter and all those. Well, guess what? ChatGPT allows you to record now in ChatGPT. So the future is changing constantly with these tools, adding new features and functionality to be able to create that audio and that summary. And so again, if you think it, you can do it. So Gamma, let's go back to that. And I'm going to go to a couple other questions. I didn't see in the chat. If he did, Crystal, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and start Teams in the background, so it'll be open on other monitors. So if he did, just set it over in Teams and I'll open that up so that I can see it in case he did answer that. But I want to show everybody how Gamma works. And I just want to have some type of topic to do that with. And so we'll just do that. And let's go to the next question. Can you show us exactly how to get ChatGPT connect and answer your emails? Well, Bob, I'm going to show you the basics of it, but actual development of that is a lot more complicated than this. I did show a little bit of the review maybe before the question came in, but I'll go ahead and share the screen again. And what you're going to do, let me move those questions out of the way, is you're going to go to ChatGPT and you're just going to come into new chat, get everything out of the screen here. You're going to click your plus sign. You're going to click connections. You're going to add a source and you're going to authenticate it. I'm not going to do that right now because I use my ChatGPT for too many clients and I don't want that to get corrupt. But I can come in here and connect it. And once I connect it, I can then ask it to do something. When you're in agent mode, for example, I can click the plus sign and go to agent mode. I can still connect. And in agent mode, what I did in agent mode is I said, go into my Gmail, unsubscribe me from any newsletter that isn't AI related and any promotional stuff, and unsubscribe me. And the agent opened up its own browser and went and did the task. It looked at my email. It opened it up. It hit the unsubscribe link. It opened up a web page. It unsubscribed me. Then it went to the next one. Unbelievable. But it's a double-edged sword. So use agent mode with caution. I am not giving you legal advice, as I've said a million times. All right, moving on to the next question. And let's go to the next one. So that's Bob. Bettina, how complex can ChatGPT agents be? Multi-step processes? Yes. ChatGPT agents, and more importantly, tools like Zapier, N8N, and Make.com can be extremely powerful. So for example, I'll put this full screen. So here's an example of a workflow. This is my AI digital twin workflow. It watches my website. It puts my chapters into Airtable. Then it goes to AI and it writes short form scripts. And it goes and it does all these different tasks. I know it's probably hard to see on the screen. So all you really need to understand is that this is a multiple step using multiple technology. It's using Google Drive. It's using Placid. It's using Airtable. It's using Perplexity. It's using all Google Docs and Google Drive. And so these tools are quite powerful. And again, if you think it, you can do it. And again, to solve AI problems, you go to Perplexity and say, I'm new to this. Give me step-by-step instructions. Hey, Greg, can replay.cell be used to interact with people who might be seeking interactive information about negotiation and body language? Greg, if you wanted to create your own AI avatar and you wanted to use it like a lead magnet where you're asking your customers to go see if they negotiate to try to give it some scoring, yeah, you could do that. Replay.cell is used for customer service so that their customer service reps can effectively handle customer service challenges. And it's also used for salespeople, inside and outside salespeople, to understand how to role play so that they can communicate effectively, build rapport, nurture, discover economic and emotional needs, and then improve the relationship and sell. So certainly replay.sell can do that. How complex? So Patrick, okay, I got that one already. How complex can ChatGPT agents be? Okay, well, I think we covered that one. So those are the main questions we had. Put into the chat if you have gotten some great value from it. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to paste in my review link again, because again, why not? And connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to go ahead and put my LinkedIn in there. If I'm not already connected with you on LinkedIn, let me see if I can send that to you. Forward on LinkedIn. There we go. So just full disclosure, I'm going to show you my setup here, because everybody's always like, well, how are you doing all this? How are you doing all this? So I'm going to take my little camera here, if it lets me, how much cord I have. Not much, actually. Let me move this other way. So I'm going to go to this other camera. So I have a teleprompter up here, and I can use that for scripts or anything else. So that's how I can switch back and forth between my slides so quickly. I have a monitor over there. That's my main monitor. And then I have my digital switcher, which is over there. But what I really wanted to show you were, come on, give me some cord. Sorry, everybody. I'm not trying to do the Blair Witch Project on the Zoom here. All right, that sort of did it. I have 2 Stream Decks, and I can click these buttons and change between different cameras. And so this is how I'm able to do this so quickly. This is the sound effects. Yeah! So all these buttons, that's a Stream Deck device. So what a Stream Deck device does, turn this around, turn my camera on. So Stream Deck, this is not AI, but I'm going to answer the question anyway, because it always comes up. Stream Deck makes 3, 6, 16, and 32 button. Plus on 32 buttons, you can have multiple pages, which means you can have hundreds of different buttons. So I have things that I do on a repetitive basis that are programmed. They're shortcuts. So they're just simulating a keyboard stroke, but I don't have to touch my keypad. All I have to do is click a button. So if I want to say you're on mute, or if I want to turn my camera on with, nothing, and this is a real background here. This isn't Zoom background. This is actually my Zoom background. I can change the cameras. I can change the screens. You can do pretty much the whole thing here. So, I can have multiple cameras on the screen and show you everything all at once. But what that really has to do with is, don't get seduced by technology, as I said so many times now. Look at how you can actually leverage it to make a better experience. The last two I didn't talk about is seamless.ai. For you, those of you in sales, if I was trying to get a hold of Michael, my good buddy, Michael Hoffman, and I was trying to get a hold of him, but he didn't give me his phone number, Seamless is like Zoom Info on steroids. If you're in sales, check out seamless.ai. No, that's not my affiliate link. Yes, I have an affiliate link. That's not it. But Seamless will give you competitive analysis. It goes out, searches the internet for everybody on Michael Hoffman. Where has he been seen? And it helps me find their cell phone, his social security number, his tax ID. No, I'm just kidding. But it does give you a lot of competitive advantage to help you understand and reach your leads more effectively, because at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And then Taja.ai is just one of those specialty ones that Crystal is actually the master of that one. She's used Taja on my Profit Rich Results YouTube channel. And we went from 1,000 subscribers to, Crystal put in the chat, however many we have today, in 30 days. So she used this tool, repurposed my content, and there's a lot of tools that can do this. But that's just one example of how AI has really done that. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. I know we've covered a lot in a very short period of time. You will get the replay. I don't know how many more longer I'm going to do the free ones. I've been doing them for a while. They're great lead magnets because it builds trust and credibility with those clients who are interested in bringing me in for a keynote. So on that note, if you're interested in bringing me in for a keynote or presentation, my website's been on the screen forever. You can watch my video at profitrichresults.com, or just let's have a conversation. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. And with that, I'm going to close.